Hey YouTube, my name is Imani. Welcome back to my channel. I know this is an interesting look. I am in the middle of a retie right now, but I did have some important just information and advice that I wanted to share, particularly for those who have either sister locks or microlocs and you're struggling with lumps or fat ends, whatever you want to call them. This tip that I have just found out from a group that I follow on Facebook, and I'll be sure to share the name of that if you want to join and just, share your journey with other women. We are really supportive of each other in that group, and yeah, a lot of people go there for advice as well. And so I ran across this particular post it wasn't my post, but it was just a different post of somebody else who was having trouble with their fat ends. And as you guys know, I have also shared that with you on my channel. And I haven't seemed to find the solution. The video that I did post may work for some, but it didn't really work for me. It temporarily worked, but I think it's more tedious to do it that way than it is the way that I'm going to show you. So this particular method to get rid of your fat ends on your locks does involve scissors. People, their locks are very spiritual to them. They have a spiritual meaning. And I know if you're are of a particular religion, you might not want to cut your hair. But me, I don't necessarily care about putting a pair of scissors to my hair. Obviously for me, the goal is length, long length, and healthy hair. But yeah, I don't have any sort of superstitions or anything holding me back from using scissors in my hair. So if you are also okay with scissors, then this method may work for you. So as I said, I am working on my hair, which is why I look crazy like this. Please don't judge me. Please don't judge me. But yeah, so I'm working in the back. And this method is tedious, so it will take some time. But this is a prime example of what I have to deal with throughout my locks. For some people this doesn't bother, and for me, I was honestly just going to suffer with it until I got past my desired length. Then I was going to cut them off. But the lady that shared this advice, I was just like, whoa, I have to try this out now. So yeah, so we've got the infamous scissors, and the main thing we're gonna do is we're gonna cut in this direction up along the lock. We're not going to just chop it straight off. Unless you're comfortable with that, then go right on ahead. But we're gonna cut in this direction. My first tip of doing this is to make sure that the part that you're chopping off is fully locked. I would not recommend doing this on locks, on fat ends that are not fully locked, just because you really could mess with the integrity of your locks. So if you do have fat ends and your locks are not fully locked, I would maybe ask a loctician or just wait it out until they're fully locked before you try this method, just to keep the integrity of your lock so you're not dealing with any unraveling all the way up your hair. Because obviously, you know, once you get closer to the top of your lock, that's where you freshly retied maybe a few months ago, so you are more likely to have it unravel, whereas if it's closer to the ends, they're probably more fully locked. My second piece of advice is to think of this as trimming the fat off of a steak. Now, I don't know why you would trim the fat off of a steak, because obviously the fat is what makes it juicy, gives it that. But in this instance, we're going to think about it that way, trimming off the fat. So we really just want to just take it easy. We don't want to cut into the meat, meaning I don't want to accidentally cut too deep. And what I mean by cutting too deep is taking that angle too far in when you cut, because you may end up cutting off your ends by accident. I actually did this like twice already, so fair warning, please take your time, cut off small pieces at a time. Do not go in for the kill, take your time. And try to keep the angle that you're cutting at as high as possible. Also, just try to have any other hair out the way so you don't accidentally cut into those locks as well. Now, this is going to be kind of hard for me to do because I'm like, the camera is right in front of me, but I'm also trying to look in my mirror. So just bear with me if this doesn't look the greatest. I'm going to try to get a little bit closer so I can see what I'm doing. You know, y'all are all up in my grill. My skin looks good. It's nice and all right, so particularly, like, you see this lump on this side, we're just gonna cut right here at this base part of the scissors. You might have sharper scissors than me, but this is what I got to work with. Uh-oh, see? I almost cut too deep just there. But you saw how I corrected myself? Hold on, you might not have saw that. Again, bear with me. I'm doing this for the cameras, so this is kind of a little more difficult to see. The goal is just to kind of get it to taper along with the lock. You don't have to get it exactly the size of your lock all the way around, but you definitely want it to be closer than what it currently is. So just do like a nice taper or a nice fade, like if you were going into a barber shop or something. You don't want it to be blunt. I mean, if you can get it as skinny as your actual lock without compromising the integrity, go ahead. But I would just be very careful when doing that. And we're just gonna constantly rotate the lock so we can see like all the sides of the lumps and stuff that need to be cut off. So, sorry if my finger is in the way. I'm trying my best to not cut my hair off. And also for you guys to see what I'm doing. See how that kind of already looks better? I'm just gonna keep going. And I would recommend doing this as you're going through your retie. This is kind of going to prolong your retie, but at the end of the day, it is worth it. Honest to God, it is so worth it. Like, I wish I would have discovered this last year, but it's fine. Okay, so this is a prime instance where you don't want to cut. So here, you see how it's starting to get thin? We don't want to cut any places that are already thin. We want to make sure we're keeping the integrity of the lock as much as possible. I'm gonna kind of get here on the sides, but I'm gonna be very, very careful. We're just trimming that fat lightly. We want to keep some fat on because, you know, everybody likes a little fat nowadays. And this could probably also help if you did this with every lock. It could reduce frizz as well. But I would really only recommend doing it on parts of your locks that are already fully locked. If you've got frizz like closer to where your hair isn't fully locked, I would just leave it, you know, just leave it. So yeah, look at that. That looks way better. Maybe I can show you a beginning to end of what it did look like versus what it's looking like now. So yeah, look at that. Boom. Nice. So yeah, I'm about to do that to my whole head. I've already kind of done it with these particular locks in my hair. This is the section that I've done, that I've retied so far. As you can see, I got a lot of locks. For me, this is a 4 to 6 day process because number one, I have 2 small kids. One's 2 and the other is 9 months. So, you know, my attention regularly diverts to them. Changing diapers, cleaning up messes, feeding, etc. So I usually split my hair into sections and I'll work on a particular section for that day. And it helps me not to overwhelm myself with doing my entire head because I have a lot of hair and I'm thankful for that, but it does take some time and a lot of patience to do. But yeah, thank you for tuning back into my channel. I hope you found something useful for you, and stay tuned for more videos.